Every Ferengi business transaction is governed by 285 rules of acquisition to ensure a fair and honest deal for all parties concerned. At times like this, I'm reminded of the 57th rule of acquisition. Good customers are as rare as latinum.
Wise words, my favorite Ferengi. Welcome to a new series where I will try to marry my love for Star Trek and the hobby. Yes, when it comes down to Star Trek, I love Spock, I love Kirk, I love Captain Picard, but one of my, if not my favorite supporting characters of all time is Quark, the Ferengi. I love the Ferengi race and their rules of acquisition. If you're not familiar with them, go look it up, Google it. It's on YouTube. There's many clips of it. But for this very first video, I'm gonna choose one of my favorite, and it's applied to everything in life in general. Good customer are as rare as platinum. Treasure them. You know, it's common sense, right? It's common sense. You know, if you are a customer, if you are a buyers in this hobby, you understand how you like to be treated, okay? And as a seller, you know what it takes to have repeated customers, right? Fair grading, good price, good shipping, all the common sense thing that you know customer want when they buy something from you. So for me, it's always head scratching to see bad customer service. And hey, even I am not perfect. Okay, I have so many things, and out of the hundreds, if not thousands of packages I ship out, two were damaged, and a few were returned because the buyers disagree with my grading on raw books, and some of them because I missed something. It happens, but at the end of the day, it's about how to treat your customer, being courteous, being polite, being mindful, not being a total jerk is a big plus, both as a buyer and a seller, right? So for me, that saying of, you know, good customer are as rare as platinum apply to many aspects of life, whether it's comic books or buying a house or buying a car or buying grocery even. It's common sense, yet so many people fail at this, okay? We all know bad dealers. We also know bad buyers, okay? From my viewpoint, from somebody that sell a lot of books, I have my share of bad buyers, people that I would not rather sell anything anymore to. And when it comes to what's a good customers or what is a good dealers, it's different from one person to the other, okay? At the core of the topic, being polite, being courteous is essential, but then personalities play a big part on how a person will mesh with another person. For example, I am not a haggler, not a haggler at all. So I don't haggle much, and I also don't like other people to haggle with me, and that's just a personality thing. Okay, it doesn't say poorly on someone that want to haggle with me. If they want to haggle with me, they can try, and they will likely fail, because, you know, I'm pretty simple when it comes to haggling. If I am a buyer and somebody make an offer, I would counter offer once, and if the comeback price is something that's not reasonable, I move on. And as a seller, the same thing. If I put up a book for sale, and often my price is not crazy, okay, I'm not listing anything twice the value and hoping to catch a naive buyer. That's not. There are dealers, sellers that behave that way. Hey, if they can do a business that way, that's their way. But for me, I might list a book 5-10% above fair market value, and if someone come in and make a counter offer within 5%, 10% of the fair market value, I will counter with what I think is a fair price of the book, and if that's not good enough, so be it. But I don't play the back and forth until we can squeeze the last $5. Some people like that. Some people like to play that game all day long until they can squeeze the last nickel. Hey, if they can find a counter person, whether it's a buyer or seller that's willing to play that game, all power to them, right? Not here. I don't play that game, so that's just my personality trait. That is my way to tell people that, everybody have their own preference on how to do things. So it's what is considered a good customers for me might not be the same for another person. But the one thing that we all can share, that we have in common, is we like to deal with people that are polite. Okay? When people are not polite or demanding or just a complete jackhole as far as, in their communication with you on how they view of your prices and things like that, there's no need for that. There's no need to insult anybody. People can list price whatever they want, okay? Whenever I see a listing on eBay that is completely wacky, sure, my knee-jerk reaction is, my God, what a wacky price. Insane. But at the end of the day, that seller can list it at whatever price he wants. Okay? And if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. It doesn't bother me one bit. As a seller, as someone that used to sell a lot on eBay, I used to get a few occasional message from people that dislike my price. Really? Guess what? You will never buy from me again if you send me a message to say that your price is too high, the fair market value of this and that is... Really? Just make an offer and see what happens. I don't need you to coach me on or preach to me what the fair value of anything is. Come on. So yes, when it comes down to this hobby, there's a lot of people that lack a lot of common sense when it comes down to what it is to maintain a good relationship with a dealer or a customer. It is a huge benefit, I can tell you. I love repeat customer because they are easy to deal with. They trust my packing. They trust my grading, especially on raw books. And if I'm wrong, they can return the books. It's not a big deal. It has happened a few times here and there, but I can't even put a number on that. 3 or 4 times out of the thousands of raw books I sold. So it's not a big deal if somebody disagrees with my grade. And when it comes down to as a buyer, I love to have a great relationship with a few dealers because they get me the good stuff. They save the good stuff for me. They give me first dips, okay, on many good things. And occasionally, I will buy things that I don't really want just so that I can maintain the good relationship, so that I can get my first dips on the great stuff. It has happened many times. For example, I pull out a few things. One of my favorite, if not my favorite dealers, who has given me first dips on so many great books over the past many years. When I talk about, buying things that I don't really want in order to keep the relationship, I have a few examples for you. So, back in 2017, one of my favorite, if not my favorite dealer, emailed me and told me, I got a bunch of Wonder Woman book, Bronze Age, high grade. He knows I love high grade. So he's like, they're great looking book. I think you love them. And here they are. It's like a dozen of them, so I pull out like 5 or 6 of them. But as you can see, beautiful 9.2-ish, 9.4. And I'm not really into Wonder Woman. I don't really care, but they high grade, and he offered me at the price. I counted with something maybe 10% less. He said yes, done deal. I still have all of the books, you know, even a year plus later. So, but because of that kind of relationship, guess what? Shortly after that, okay, this gorgeous near mint first Punisher, gorgeous, and this double cover beauty, which I have shown a few times. Okay, double covers beauty, and his price was very reasonable. He undergraded his book a little bit, so I have no complaint. Like this book here, he made an offer. Double covers are very hard to price. Okay, his asking price, I counted with something within 10%, and deals are done. And same thing with this. He has his asking price, and I make a counter offer once, and he accepted, done deal. There is no back and forth. He knows me very well by this point, so he knows that, you know, whatever he offered to me, most of the time I will counter with something within 5 to 10%, and he's cool with that. And there are times where he offers something and I buy it right away without even haggle on any price. So here and there, I pick my spot. Okay, I pick my spot when I want to haggle a little bit, or when I just say, just give it to me. And that's how I am, and that's how I maintain my relationship with that dealer. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this new series, because there are plenty of Ferengi rule of acquisition that can apply to this hobby. Until the next rule, bye-bye.
The rules are nothing but guideposts, suggestions. Then why call them rules? Would you buy a book called Suggestions of Acquisition? You mean it was a marketing ploy? Rule of acquisition 239. Never be afraid to mislabel a product.